Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness. This is LZ, and I am here with Nick. And today we have on the show Rob Martinez, aka AMG, Robbie, co founder and chief visionary officer of AMG, which is audio media grading, and just overall cool guy. I had a chance to meet up with Rob at the National, and we only spent about 5 minutes just talking about AMG, and it was just really, really interesting. I'm like, you know what, Rob, we need to get you on the show. So, Rob, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you.
Thank
Welcome, Rob.
you. It's an honor, and I'm ready to get into. Can we curse?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
Ready to get into the shit. Let's
All
go.
right.
All right,
All
let's do
right. We're gonna get into it.
You can beat
Um,
that.
so, Rob, let's just first start out. I mean, definitely, we want to focus on AMG because what you're building is really, really interesting, and I know our audience is going to really, really dig it. So just tell us first, who is AMG?
AMG is a company founded by me and Steve Aoki about, I would say, 3 years ago. It started from me working at another toy grading company, and it was like this thing where I was waiting for someone to create music grading. And every year that kept passing by, I just kept telling myself, like, okay, video games and comic books, to me, it's very niche, right? Not
Mm,
everyone has a comic book in their house. Not everyone has video games. They're kind of niche, demos to me. I collect those things too. Um, but every year that kept passing by, right? I kept asking myself, PSA got to come out with it. CGC got to, someone has to be developing this, right? And every year I grew more and more frustrated, I would guess, that no one did. And so I started just in that toy company, the toy grading company. I started doing schematics, and I started doing dimensions and taking dimensions of records and thinking about a grading scale. And that eventually led to me asking them if I could start a new division. And they were like, "No way, we don't think so."
mm.
And for me, it's like, why wouldn't you? Because like music is after sports, or even music is above sports.
I think it
I
is
think
above
it's the
sports.
most relevant thing in your household in terms of behind you got Muhammad Ali, and then you play some Wu-Tang in the background or whatever. You know what I
There you
mean?
go.
Like, it's the two main things. I think in every family there's a cultural background to it. So um one night I just thought to myself, you know what, as a shot in the dark, why don't I DM the most influential person in music and collectibles that could probably hear me out? You know what? Let me just write a paragraph out, find Steve Aoki's profile on Instagram, and just tell him, hey, I work at this company. I had this idea, and I was wondering if you would be interested. And it was like a paragraph, other details I put in there. And yeah, I was just watching old school rap videos from the 90s that night. It was like around 11:30. And I remember my phone, a bing came on, and I was like, it said, Steve Aoki just messaged you. So the first thing I thought, it was a ghost account, it was a troll, something, like
Mm,
no way he answered that quick. No
mm,
fucking way. You know what I mean?
mm.
So I opened it up, and then I saw that, it had the little check, and it was him. And then I think the first question he asked was, "Who the fuck are you?" First, are you legit? And I like your ideas, but tell me more.
Mhm.
So as soon as I saw that, I started freaking out. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit!" Like, why would in his mind ask this random person on Instagram to be like, "Give me more. Are you for real?" And I started freaking out. I'm like, "Yes, I'm for real. I work at this company. I have plans. I have schematics. I have machines. I could come up with like a physical prototype maybe soon." And he kept talking to me, and he was like, "Okay, show me more. We'll keep in touch, and we'll see what happens. If anything, worst thing is, I don't like it and I walk away from you. You know, I'm like,
Take your
sure."
shot, man. Take your shot. You took your shot, and good for you. That's great. It's
Yeah,
great.
so that's how
Yeah.
AMG was birthed.
Wow.
All right. I like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And now 3 years later, we are the PSA of music rating. That's where we're at right
Congratulations.
now.
That's
Yeah.
so. I'm sorry. I was just with my take your shot comment. So I don't know if you're going
Yeah.
to get into it, but so Steve, obviously you guys kind of kept in touch. You were sending him maybe some schematics or examples of maybe how this grading would happen. Talk to us about how he and you decided to like partner together. Like it's one thing to have an idea and oh, this is cool, Rob. It's another thing to say, hey, we're going to shake on this and we're going to be business partners.
So when Steve likes an idea, you got to go through his entire armada of business teamsters, I call them. So I had to go through a gauntlet, of pitch meetings, and pretty much showed them what I thought was possible. And I mean, I can show you guys something I shown on some other podcasts, which is hilarious. I remember the first night, right? These are like rough sketches of this, but I remember that first night. So
Oh,
he
cool.
got,
All right. So for
this
those
is
that are
so
only on
cool.
audio, Rob is showing an actual like notebook with hand-drawn schematics of how
Yeah.
the
just
grading.
very roughly, like quick shit. Like, oh my god,
Project Aoki.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
He does say
Yeah,
that.
like, and you see here, like this is funny as hell. Like coming up with names.
Oh, wow. You
Yeah.
kept this. That's cool. So, yeah, for those on audio, it's all the possible company names,
Oh, he's even
what the
got the
label's going to look
label,
like.
what the label
Oh,
look like.
man.
That's cool.
Rob,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
there's so much stuff here, man. Like just
Yeah,
spitballing what
just
it's
another
supposed to look
example of
like.
a
So
label.
this is like the genesis of what a grading company looks like. This will probably be in a museum one day, like
There you
when
go.
when I'm dead.
You're gonna have to grade. You're gonna have to grade that notebook.
Yeah, you have to sign it and then slab the notebook. You get Steve to sign it too. You both
Oh
sign
my
it,
god, yo, that is a great idea. You
Yeah,
should
it
do
right?
is.
that.
Of
Should do
course
that
it
right
is.
now.
Yeah.
All right. So Rob, were you into grading toys back in the day? Was that something you did?
Yeah, I grade everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it was frustrating for me to see like every other medium. Like I grade vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys from the 80s and 90s. I have like one of the most expensive. I have the most expensive figure. What am I talking about? It's in here too. You guys want to see it?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
people on audio, Rob has a really cool glass case, stand-up glass case behind him, and he's going to it and grabbing
He's going
something
to show
out
us
of it.
the most expensive figure, but we don't know what it is.
This is well. If you grade toys, this is like the 52 Mickey Mantle of Ninja Turtle collecting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I like the Ninja Turtles, but oh, who is this guy?
Who's that?
Scratch, right? Or something like that?
Yes.
Oh, I
How did you
nailed it.
know?
I
You
nailed
get
it.
points,
Oh
bro.
man, Nick. Wow.
I was a huge Ninja Turtles fan, about 9,
Yeah,
10 years old. So, all right.
So this is Scratch Mock in a 80 plus, I think. Yeah, 80 plus. And
Wow.
this is around, I would say 10 to 12K around
Whoa.
there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is so cool. That is
Nice.
so cool.
So yeah, so you're into just grading toys. What other
Yeah.
toys did you grade?
I mean, only high end stuff on Ninja
Okay.
Turtle stuff. It ain't like
Yeah.
cards. Like that's a loose scratch. Yeah.
All right, he's showing us
Okay.
another one. Yep.
But
Interesting.
I have comic books. I have TMNT 1 first printing. That's a big one. It's like a 9.6. Obviously, baseball cards. I'm into Piazza, Bonds, Griffey, basketball. A lot of Kobe, a lot of Anthony Edwards. If we're talking modern, football, I don't do because that market is just up and down, and you get rid of stuff real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much that's the only stuff I'm into, and then obviously video games. So I grade a couple video games. And fun fact about me, I was part of the 1990 Nintendo World Championships.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah.
1990. How old are you in
Yeah.
1990? What are we talking?
I was 9 years old. I got
Whoa.
invited because I used to like take pictures of my high scores, and I used to send them into Nintendo Power.
Mhm.
And I was like one of the high scoring kids at that era.
Oh, man, I did the same thing.
There
We're
you
like
go.
brothers. This is crazy.
So you went to the World Championship. Where was it?
It was in Universal Studios and I think
Yes.
over in California, and I lost in the first round. Like I was completely nervous. I did not know what to make of it, and I actually owned one of the carts, and my dad sold it for $20,000 when I was young, like when I was like 16, 15.
Oh.
And then I didn't realize that later on it would become like a
Oh.
$200,000 thing. And I always tell my dad, you're an asshole for doing that.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool little backstory. All right, let's
Yeah.
get back to AMG. We would love to just understand, like, all right, so you talked about the inception of it and growing it. Like, where is AMG now? Like you said, it's one of the top music rating companies like in the world now. Like, what does it look like? What does the business look like?
So let me tell you where we came from.
Yeah.
I started in a little room at the toy grading company where we used to do prototypes and do everything by hand. So any
Mm,
case that came before what we are now was made by hand by and me and the CEO Ken Black. It was just us two, right? And now we have fully sonic welded machines. We have graders. We have a shipping department. We have a big facility with an office space and a back area we got full customization. We have the world's experts at our fingertips. We go into 4K rooms and talk about albums that we can't figure out with the world's leading experts because we got them all on hand. We have Steve Aoki's network is huge in terms of
sure.
him getting to anyone in the music industry. We have estates. We have the auction houses relying on us. It is turned into in the first 3 years. This is all we've done, and we're doing more. And all I think about here is the innovation that we need to come up with to keep making better cases, to keep giving better customer service. We're updating our website. New website drops in middle September. Just stuff like that. Just scaling this. I call it like when you're making a business from a startup is to war. And that first year was a proof of concept to Steve. Like
Mhm.
there was no money in. It was like, let's do it, but let's see how many people submit. And I tell you, that first year was tough. It
Yeah.
was really tough,
Hmm.
but we made it through and we proved that it was possible, even with just me and Ken Black.
Wow.
And we were working overtime. I'm talking hours off from the day job and
Hmm.
working at night, and making cases by hand. Me, him, then Christian came in, and now it's gone to a level where I think most people are starting to take notice of us. Even us being at the trade card shows, they're like, "What's going on? Music rating, like." That's a new thing, but we've been at the record shows. So just like cards have its own culture and their own
Hmm.
shows, there's record shows every weekend all across the country, and that's what we've been doing. We've been going to those, and
Nice.
obviously we feel there's a medium in there where the sports card guys start to take notice of us, and we know you guys love music as much as us and collect stuff
Yeah.
just as much as us.
Sure.
Because in your head, when I'm telling you we're a music grading company, you're already thinking, so what can I grade that it means something to me? You
Yeah.
know,
I absolutely like I try to pay attention when I'm interviewing people, but while you were talking, I was thinking in my head, what do I have in this house right now
what
that
do
I
I
can
have,
send to Rob?
right?
What do
Yeah,
I
I got a
have?
stack
What
of vinyl
records?
right
Yeah,
next to me right
right
there. I mean, I got
downstairs.
CDs in the attic from when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we've been talking, LZ and I talk about getting into music all the time. Like I've got a signed Janis Joplin photo I'm going to frame up and
Wow.
that JSA passed. Awesome. And just, I want some Hendrix stuff signed, right? And like maybe I want a vinyl. I mean, that might be tough, but like something signed by Hendrix to grade. It'd be pretty cool. So
You
I
you
dig
could
it.
find it, and the best part is we exist, so you could preserve it, get a
Hmm.
grade
Yeah.
on it, authenticate it. We work with JSA, we work with PSA, we work with Beckett, and if it's
Oh,
already
really?
authenticated, yeah. And
Yeah.
if
So
if it's
how would
already
that work?
authenticated,
How would
well,
that work, Rob?
that's for the signature. So let's
Yeah.
say
Got
you
it.
got an album, you get a Jimi Hendrix album, and PSA already authenticated it,
Hmm.
and you're like, oh, but PSA doesn't grade albums. All right, let me send it to AMG. How does that work? We'll put PSA's reference or serial number on the label.
Oh,
And that's
cool.
it. That's
Okay.
all we do
Awesome.
because it's not
Nice.
like, oh, it's the other guy. Because we work with PSA and other things too. So we have really good like relationships with these companies over the years, especially JSA. JSA comes in here personally. So if you don't have it authenticated, we have JSA in-house. So they come in
Nice.
here and they
Ooh,
authenticate all the signatures.
nice.
That's great.
Nice. So you guys have been around for 3 years. Just one follow-up question. Like how many submissions are you handling right now? It's just curious.
It's hard to say because there's two parts of this, all right?
Mm,
There's the industry part, and then there's the regular submitters, the guys at home that send us stuff. But let's just say we're doing very good right now, and
yeah.
our overhead is easily cleared. That's all I can say.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Really
Congrats.
cool. So Rob,
Yeah.
you mentioned you've ramped up and now you have graders, and obviously that makes this like a real thing now. What kind of experience or training do the graders have? Like, what do you do to put them through the gauntlet or onboard them so that they have experience like doing this? I imagine it's difficult.
Yes, it is. Let me tell you one thing how the grading scale was made first. So I made the grading scale with a gentleman named Brian Florin, who used to work at PSA and BGS. So that grading scale took around a year and a half to make. It wasn't like an easy thing where you're like, yeah, let's just make 10 to 9. Because we tried out different things in the beginning. It was the comic book scale, 9.2, 9 point. That doesn't work in music. It's too much variables. So we
Mm,
cracked we threw that in the trash. Um, the Beckett scale is pretty good, but still in music, we have too much landscape to grade on vinyl. So for me, I had to make that decision, and Steve had some input, and he's like, the easiest way to do this is PSA scale. Just 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
mm.
And a 9 in music grading, I'll say this for anyone out there that wants to know why tens are so valuable in music grading is a 9 is a 10. If you get a 10, it's like getting a black label.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I want the audience to know. And your part, that 9 is 10. Always remember that rule in music. So if you get a 9, it's like bang, you know what I
Okay.
mean? And our graders are pretty much people. There's one head guy, and the other ones are younger. So you always have to quiz them. What is their expertise? What genres are they good in? Do they know cellophane wrapping? You know what I mean? Cellophane wrapping is one of the
Mm.
biggest things in here that people try to pass off as, rewrap stuff. They try to pass off and see if we know our cellophane. We refuse a lot, so they go through a cellophane test.
Wow.
Ah, very cool. Very
Interesting.
cool. I got a Fleetwood Mac album right here with the original cellophane on it with the sales sticker on the cellophane. It's pretty
You'd be
cool.
surprised how many people try to
Well,
glue that back
They'll
on.
fake that.
But yeah.
ah, wow.
And we trust me, I have seen some crazy things in my time here at AMG, but you have to tell if you want to grade here, you have to tell cellophane, you have to know releases, you have to have an expansive knowledge of music. I'm talking, you have to be an encyclopedia. We don't
Yeah.
care how old you are, but we can care about how much knowledge you have of product that's been out in the market for years, eons. I'm talking 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You have to know country albums, what pressing it is. And if you don't know, don't put first pressing on the cover. And that's why I need to count on them. Like I told you guys, we keep our staff from knowing anyone. So if you grade for AMG, you will never be like at a convention. You will never get to. He'll never get to chill with you guys. You know
So
what
you
I
keep it
mean?
independent. That's good.
You guys will never be buddy buddy with none of my graders.
That's all right. We're buds with you, Rob.
Yeah,
So that's
you and
that's good
Steve
enough for me.
Aoki. That's it. That's it. That's all
Yeah,
we need.
that's we're fine. So you mentioned you've seen a lot of crazy stuff. What is some of the most impressive items that have come through AMG that have blown you away?
Ooh, man, I'm under NDA for one.
Oh,
Oh
really?
man.
NDA.
But hey man, we could start off at the one that's out there
Hmm.
on the Netflix show. I got Eminem to sign his first pressing. And that happened because I reached out to Paul Rosenberg and asked him, hey man, to me the holy grail and all this is Eminem's actual first album, Infinite. I've been on a 20-year search for this thing, and lo and behold, the person that had it was Eminem's manager.
Oh,
Wow.
You know,
wow.
and then I asked the question, hey, if we put it for auction, would M be able to cite, and will Marshall do that? And it took a lot of weeks of talking, and Paul telling he's never signed one. And no one's ever came up to him and be like, "Oh, I got Infinite." Like, it's so hard to get
Wow.
M's signature. M never signed. If you see videos of him on the street, hardly ever signs. Hardly.
Mm.
So he never signed one, so he did it, and I was just like, holy,
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
I
amazing.
was like, and we decided to take it to Golden,
Mm.
and then we shot with Netflix and made a whole episode about it, and it did 62.5K, which is top 10 all-time vinyl sales. We done first state butcher albums, which go for around 100K.
Ooh.
We did a 8, which is huge for vintage. If you get an 8 in a Hank Aaron rookie card, you're not gonna cry.
Now you see,
Um,
but when you say Butcher, that's that Beatles album, right? Where they have like meat
yeah,
all over
it's
their,
with
yeah,
yeah, the meat and the dead babies
yeah.
and yeah,
And then
that's
first state has the picture of it. Second state has a white label over it, and you have to peel the label
yes.
off. That's worth like $50, right? Or like $100 or something. Yeah,
It's
very
worth a
cool.
little more than that, but yeah, that first state is definitely top tier.
All right.
We have seen stuff from the Harrison estate that I can't talk about, but I'm
Mm.
talking maybe if it went out there, it'll be worth around 250K. You know, we have seen, I think, a purple tape that got an 8. That's like the grail for cassette tapes. Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links from 1995 is considered like the holy grail of cassettes, sealed cassettes.
No
Whoa.
kidding.
So that tape alone, and that 8, like raw, you might get it for 7 and 8K.
Hmm.
Uh, if you got an 8 in it, you might be talking around 25K just for a cassette now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is just the beginning of the market, guys. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Wow, that's
early
crazy.
stages.
So
Like, you know?
yeah. So Rob, what's interesting to me is that you're almost working directly with artists in a way. Like you went almost direct to Eminem to
Yeah.
have him sign that vinyl. Do you have other relationships with artists besides Steve Aoki, and like are they doing things in partnership with you guys, or are you seeking them out?
I mean, for the most part, I had a background in music, so I have a lot of relationships in the music industry myself, and I
Mm,
think that's when Steve like decided to make a company with me. That background really helped me out because you can't do this without having a music person
Mm.
of
at the
course.
top of the pyramid. They need to be connected. They need to know how to walk in and conduct these meetings and kind of like let them know what the vision looks like and why do I need to grade my product, and what is it giving to the audience? It's all part of this educational thing that I'm doing for the next 10 years probably. And the more stuff I do, the more I don't need to educate no more. Now people are reaching out to me, you know.
Yeah.
So I have relationships with a lot of big clientele. Like I'm talking, we have a lot of estates here from from the Beatles to the Cobain, Motley Crue, you name it, we know the people. So our relationships are very expansive, and obviously Steve Aoki, his
Hmm.
network is huge. So if I don't know somebody,
He
Steve
does.
will connect me to them right away. Like I have been in the meetings of some of the world's biggest like music CEOs. I have been there, like got on a jet, sat in their offices, and explained to them why their record label should be grading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the future looks insanely bright for you guys.
yeah,
You've chosen some great partners to work with, and yeah, this can go many different directions with the connections that you're making.
yeah.
It's can't wait to watch. All right, so people who are watching and listening, oh, do you gonna show us something? You gonna show us something? What do you
What
Oh,
do we
got?
this
What
is
got?
do you got? What do we
well,
got?
this is one of my favorite cassettes. This is
Kobe
Kobe
Bryant.
Bryant's only known cassette where he released like snippets from an album that never came out. It's called Kobe Bryant's Visions, and he did it with Trackmasters. But this is our brand new Sonic welded cassette case,
That is
and this
really
did
nice looking.
I know.
yeah
I like it.
this didn't exist. You know, just this is here is my biggest achievement so far. This
Wow.
case, because it's so thick, and you know, a baseball card is way skinnier than this. But getting a
Mhm.
machine to encapsulate this was a lot of work.
Wow.
But
I
it
didn't
it
even
took
know he had an
years.
album.
Yeah, we ran exactly. So I'm a big Kobe guy. So this is my Kobe
Yeah.
Grail.
I was looking at the
Well,
Um,
songs on
everybody
that. It's like featuring Tyra Banks. Like it's like so
Yo,
funny.
he had some crazy features on this, man. Jesus. I mean, Shaq, he has 50 Cent on this.
does he? He's got
Wow.
50?
When did
Come
this come
on.
out, Rob?
This one came out in 2000. I
Okay,
think
all
right
right.
after when he won the finals, everyone was on Kobe's jock. So he needed to put him in everything. Like Shaq had 2 platinum albums already.
Oh,
So
that's
Kobe wanted
right.
to do the same
That's
thing. Yeah.
right.
Wow.
What an
Um,
era. Oh my goodness.
That's
this is
cool.
a Eminem signed double cassette, and we have a case for that.
Ooh, that's
You
Doubles.
nice.
know,
Oh, yeah, you need doubles. That's right. Yeah,
and this is signed by Eminem, and that's a 10.
that's a
And
10. So
so
everybody, he's
this,
showing us a nice thick case. It's got two cassettes in it. It's
Curtain
got
call.
Eminem's signature on the front, and it's a 10. It's beautiful.
Really awesome.
Beautiful. Very
and
cool. All
I
right.
have I have
What
some more
else?
stuff to show
Last
you.
one here. What else we got?
I got Sade, right? I don't
Oh
know if you can see it.
yeah.
You see that? This is the
Sade.
vinyl
Yeah.
sonic welded case, so baseball card, same stuff. It's that thin, right?
Wow,
And
that's cool.
it
It's
got a
almost
7.
it's probably as thick as you would like a comic book
Yeah,
sealed
yeah.
case. Yeah.
It's pretty
Mhm.
much that, but bigger.
Yep.
And let me see here if I could show you. This customer chose to put, I don't know if you can see them, but they're like little hooks here. You could
Oh
put them
yeah.
on the wall. So
Oh
that is an
yeah.
option at
Oh,
AMG, where you could just put a nail on the wall, and we put
hang it
these
up.
little hooks. And then there's bumpers on the bottom if you're scared that, you know, it's
Perfect.
gonna look floppy on the wall. No, it has a
Yeah.
bumper, so it'll be straight on the
So
bottom. So we
that's
have
an
them.
option when you're doing a submission, Rob. You can
Yeah,
choose to get like the hangers included.
That's
That
yeah.
is
awesome.
that is really smart.
It's like $5, and
Yeah.
this is something no one's ever seen before. This
All
just
right.
came in this week, so this is a an exclusive to your podcast, man.
Love
So
it.
Sweet. Awesome.
I'm
That's
very
really cool.
excited. I'm very excited to announce these. I know this podcast will be shown later, but
All
this
right.
is the thicker. This is called the modern vinyl case, and it just
Okay.
came in this week. This is a Ghostface Killer double album, really thick. It's a gatefold,
Mhm.
and it's way thicker than the other one. So,
Why is it thicker, Rob?
because the other one can only hold a certain type. This is the vintage case. This is the modern case.
Okay. Yeah, it's what,
Got it.
like
It's different thickness.
one and a half
It's,
as
yeah,
thick,
it's a
maybe?
different thickness to it.
Yeah.
And the reason we did that is because not everything in the market in the new age, we call this the modern case because it holds more new age vinyl, which is thicker, gatefolds, 180 milligram vinyl. And I wanted to encapsulate at least, I told my staff, 95% of what's out in the market.
Okay.
And this case had that solution. So now we have 2 vinyl cases.
Yeah.
And so no one's ever seen that one. So I wanted to show you guys that.
That's
Love it. Thank
really
you for
cool.
sharing that with
Yeah,
us.
you have some
That's
amazing
great.
stuff.
All right. So for the audience who's listening and watching, Rob, give us some tips. If I'm going in my attic tonight to look at my vinyls or my cassettes or my CDs, or I'm going to a random thrift store this weekend and going into the dollar bin of vinyl records, what are some of the things that I should be looking for to get some good grades?
To get some good grades, you want to look at the corners first. Every vinyl that I've seen get a 9. It's usually because of the corners. Corners cannot be compounded
Mm-hmm.
or have any wrinkles on them. The second thing I would check is the surface. No blemishes. You know, you have a lot of liquids thrown on stuff, watermarks, things of that nature. Veining, what we call veinings, because it looks like veins, and something that looks very clean, and obviously not, the edging. A lot of people don't take this in account, and when they send us vinyl, is the edging of a lot of this vinyl is shown. It's kind of like a baseball card.
Yep. The
Mm-hmm.
sides.
Uh, when it's a black card with a black border, You don't want no
Sure.
white showing on the side, so you got to watch out for that. Or how much wear from the folding up and down
Mm-hmm.
on the edging, that takes the grain down drastically. If it's we do open vinyl, it's not all sealed stuff we do. So when it's open vinyl, you want to take the vinyl out, make sure that there's no scratching, there's not a lot of wear on the grooves. The label itself gets graded itself in the middle. So if you got a dirty label, that's going to affect your grade.
Mm.
And also, the thing that I look out for most is in the middle, in the label. That's the easiest place to scratch. So if that's not super clean, you're probably gonna have a lot of scratching somewhere else. So that's how you could tell something is in good condition. That middle matrix part, right before the matrix, and
Mm.
so and you get two grades when you do a open product with us. You get a green label. So let me tell you our colors. Red means sealed. Green means unsealed. Gray means pretty much just authenticated or archive. And gold means signature series.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like the comic book thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even let's say you submit an open signed product, a signed vinyl by Jimi Hendrix. It's not sealed, but it's signed by Jimmy. You'll get a gold label with two grades, and whichever grade is overpowers the other one. Let's say the packaging looks better than the vinyl, and it's 9 and 7. It'll get an accumulative score of 8, if that
Okay.
makes sense to you.
Yep.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and sometimes the vinyl will bring up the score of the packaging. The
Mm.
vinyl's a 10 and your packaging is 7, you'll get an 8. Unless the vinyl's really, really, really good,
Mm.
it depends on the grader.
So
Um,
that
uh,
Yeah, that's
Go ahead.
really interesting to know for the listeners then. So when you're going through your bins or up in your attic, if the case itself looks like crap, like that's okay. Open it up and see how the actual vinyl looks. Because if that vinyl is pristine, well, you still might get a good overall score for the grading.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
that's really good to know. I'm glad
Very
you touched
cool.
on that.
Thanks, Rob. So
Hmm.
I want to talk about the future a little bit. We kind of understood like the beginning, the origin story, and how you're doing now. What is the future going to be for music grading? One of the things now, it's like a hot button topic in the sports card hobby. You know, people are
Mhm.
using cat scanners to look inside packs, and it's becoming accessible for the average collector. Is that something you might use to like research vinyl, or what other
Well,
innovations are you thinking about?
well, I mean, CAT scanning has been used for malicious reasons in the trading card industry. Obviously, if a breaker has enough money to buy a CAT scanner and is breaking boxes, he'll give the duds to certain people. You never know with this stuff. This has been going on probably for years, and none of us have noticed.
So
You know,
Rob, do you have like you've witnessed this or heard it firsthand or like so yeah, this is very
I
interesting.
have I've heard it from people,
Okay.
just talking to industry people like, man, this has been happening for years, but
Wow.
I have never seen it myself.
Okay.
But I do believe it's going on.
Mhm.
Obviously now with, the CT video that just came out, so it's been exposed, and now I think trading card companies have to figure out some sort of solution. Obviously, this is only for someone who's very well off who could buy a CT scanner or have the know-how to fix one or whatever. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mhm.
Um, so it's only for, I guess, the people that are in the top tier or people like in Japan that have access to really cheap factories and get CT scanners out of there. Um, and so for me, in my company, I want to use CT for a completely different thing, which is um, trying to look inside a record and read the matrix to see what pressing it is,
That's
to have
cool.
a definitive
Mm.
definitive vision of what it is, and it is cemented. This is a first pressing, because people ask me, why don't you have first pressing on this album? And I'm like, I'm not going to give you the first pressing designation if that album has had that sleeve printed 10 times in a row with the same album, with repress, and they keep the same artwork and barcode on the back, and there's nothing to distinguish what makes it a first pressing. You're not going to get it. And
Mm.
so CT will help us read the inside.
That is cool. That is
Yeah.
really interesting. I love that you're being really forward thinking with just the technology that you can use to do your grading and do your research. I mean, a lot of the grading companies out there, I think, are still very much traditional, and it's very just humans, and it's like, only my eyes are going to grade this thing. So I love that you guys are kind of thinking about what the next level of grading can be for you guys. That's awesome. All right, we're gonna soon kind of wrap it up. We want to be respectful of your time. I am curious. Me and Nick are curious because you've been in the music industry for a long time. You have a lot of connections. You're into all different types of music. Who is your Mount Rushmore of just musical artists?
That's 4 people.
I know.
Four bands. Four
Let's
bands.
see.
Yes.
All right, let's go with Depeche Mode, Wu-Tang Clan.
Ooh, I didn't expect Depeche Mode. Sorry.
Yeah, 3-6 Mafia, and Metallica.
Wow.
3-6 Mafia and Metallica. Love it. Love it. Are you going to Metallica's tour that's going on right now? Are you going to make it to one of those shows?
Let's just say something in AMG and Metallica will be coming soon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, bada bing.
All right.
All right.
All right. We stepped right into that one. There we go. There we go.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. But wow, well done on the selections there. It like ranges eras, it ranges style. It's just awesome. I love it. Depeche Mode coming out of nowhere. Great band. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm a
band.
big, huge Depeche Mode fan. I'll put Bye Later on here all day, and the kids will hate me.
Yeah. It's underrated workout music, to be honest.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I use Metallica for the workout. That's why I put them on there. Yeah.
Rob, thank you so much for coming on. It's really cool to learn about the origin story. Thank you so much for sharing the sketches that you did, because that's kind of like what entrepreneurship is. It's messy, and in the beginning it's just like it's on a notepad and you're just thinking all the time about it, and you literally captured that. So I think you definitely have to sign that with Steve Aoki and get it graded. But and then just walking us through what you're doing, it's really amazing. It makes me want to kind of go through some of my CDs and vinyl and see if something's like worthy to send along. Has to be worthy though. That's the key. So thanks.
And let me tell you this one story that I have to say, man, because there's something that happened that I never thought this company would be used for. And it was a gentleman who sent me 30 horribly disfigured cassettes, I would say, right? Like just a cassette, no case, no J card, nothing like that. And I hit him back up because he paid $50 each, and I'm like, why would someone do this? And I called him, I'm like, let me figure out what's going on with this. So I called the guy and I'm like, hey man, thank you for choosing my company to do this work. But these cassettes are gonna get like 2s and 3s and 4s. I don't know why you're doing this. Are these special or something? What's going on? He goes, oh, my father died, and these were in his car, and I wanted to grade them and pass them out after the funeral, so everyone could have a piece of my father and all the music he was listening to.
Wow.
And that's when it hit me that AMG had something else to offer other than authenticating something or like, someone's PC or something. It's more than that,
Yeah.
Wow, that's
really
beautiful.
That's really amazing.
Yeah. Real quick, sorry, before we close, how can people get in touch with you? How can they submit to AMG? Let's just cover that real quick.
You could go to the website, Audio Media Grading. New website will drop mid-September. Go to our socials, which is just AM Grading. You could follow me at AMG Robbie if you have any questions, or just hit up the main AMG profile and hit us up. You could just Google us too, Audio Media Grading.
Okay.
Excellent. Great. We'll include a link in the description on YouTube and the show notes on the audio pod so everybody can get it easy. Great. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you when I see you in New York, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Make it happen.
All right.
All right, brother.
Bye.